Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the video. And last video we have left after creating the wallet service. In this video, we will be creating the connect service or contract function calls. Okay, so we'll create a new file called contract.service.ts. Contract.service.ts. Let's do just copy. Okay, let's not copy paste, but what we'll do, we'll copy the slice part. We'll copy this part because we'll just change it after this. Shit. Okay, I have messed up some stuff. Okay, let's copy it, put it here, change the wallet to contract, and we have a contract service. I'm kidding. We need, let me remove these. Okay, before okay, let's import the stuff from the Redux toolkit. What is the error here? Contract. Okay, let me remove all this as well. Currently we don't have any thunks. Okay, how our basic create slice is ready. We'll also need to export them. I forgot to export them, but I don't think it's required for now. We have our contract slice. Let's connect that contract slice to our reducer. Contract slice dot, let me import that, and contract slice dot name contracts, and that will be contract slice dot reducer. Okay, now we have our second slice ready, and if we go here and inspect, we should be able to see our contract slice, which has some variables initialized. We'll be updating these variables. These are not the correct variables that we want to have in our contract or contract service. Okay, so now we want to add some stuff. Okay, so if you remember, we have our folder here which had the contracts or everything that is there related to the contracts, and let me put it this way. And we had our, once we built that contract, it created one artifacts folder, right? We'll just copy this artifact folder from our contract or DApp code base and put it in our common folder, and we'll create a new folder here called Web3 or DApp. Okay, let's rename it to Web3 because DApp looks a little bit different. Web3, and we'll paste this part from there to here. We'll just copy this and put it here. Okay, for some reason I'm not able to do it. Just I'll drag it and put it here. Yes, so it get copied, and we need two things from here. The contract section has our contract web3 voting.sol, and here it has a JSON file. This JSON file will contain all the ABIs and the compiled stuff from our contract. And we'll need another thing, which is the type chain, which you can see somewhere here. Let's copy this and put it in the web3 folder. So we have our artifact, we have our type chain. The type chain contains all the interface that we need for our contract. So this is the contract. There is an interface called web3 voting. Yes, and we can use this to we can use this in our front end to add our type checking. Now what I will do, okay, let's first add the contract. Okay, import web3 voting contract artifacts, or contract artifacts. Artifact equals from, and it's not equals, like dot we want this to be common web3 artifact contracts soul JSON. Okay, so it has, if you open up this one, will have a ABI. This is what we need to initialize our contract, and we'll call it let contract ABI equals web3 voting contract ABI. Okay, and we need to know the contract address. Let me get the contract address. To get the contract address, because we have deployed the contract in our Polygon testnet, so let's open Polygon testnet scan. Polygon testnet scan. Okay, and just keep Polygon Mumbai testnet and open up your development account or whatever account that you have used to deploy the contract. This is too slow. Anyway, I'll just copy this. Just open up the Polygon testnet one more time. Polygon testnet is too slow, so we'll just, for now, just don't have to connect to Polygon testnet in your MetaMask to get your data. Just copy your account address and go to Polygon testnet and paste this address. This will give you address and give you all your transactions. Here, just check for thing called contract creation. So these are the contract creations that I have done. This is the last contract creation. Just click on this contract hash, and this is the contract that we have created. Let me just open it. Created this is another. So this is the contract. I hope this is the contract. I have not deployed any contract in between, so fingers crossed. I can always go back and check the video if this is the contract that we are talking about. Anyway, so we need to know this contract address to attach to this contract. We'll call it contract address equals this. Okay, so I want this contract address to be part of my state. Let me put it directly here. Contract address is a string, and this will be in my initial. This is not required. Contract address is what will come here. It will automatically come from this variable. Okay, now I want to create a function called getContract, which will create a contract if I give it a web wallet signer as an argument. So signer, which is a JSON RPC signer. Okay, JSON RPC signer, and it will give me new Ethers dot contract, and what we need is contract address, contract ABI, and a signer. So contract address is contract address contract ABI contract, or we need signer, and we want to use our type chain from our web3 folder to return the exact type chain that we need for our application. So TypeScript will usually throw error if I directly type like web3 voting, which is coming from our type chain. I have no idea why that is, but we can anyway make it any first, then mark it as an any, mark it as any type that we want. So we know that it has the web3 type because that's how it has been compiled, but our TypeScript is for some of the overlapping, it's throwing error. Now we have our get contract function. We will be using this function everywhere in our async functions or async code. Okay, we don't need let me put this on the top. Okay, now let's remove these states, and what we need is user has already voted. This is a boolean. Okay, candidates, we need candidates which should have name and vote counter and avatar URL and candidate ID. This is also a number. This is all the details we need for the candidates, and that's all. Let's add another flag called voting. That means if we are already voting, I don't want user to spam our application. So it will show us the UI that user is currently voting, and show up. We have an option to show any loader screen or something. Another stuff let's have is loading boolean and is loaded. And if there is an error, loading the contract. So these are the three things we need. So when we are loading the contract, we'll turn this flag on. When the contract is loaded, we'll turn this flag on. If there is an error, we'll turn this flag on. So these are all the things we need. Let's put all this stuff in our initial state. All these boolean will be false, 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 and false, and this will be an okay. So for our candidates, we'll for now hardcode, because we don't have any functions in our contract to load all the candidate details as an array. So for now we'll just hardcode it, because we know these are the candidates we have, and we know because we have put them in the constructor of our contract code, and no one will be able to add new candidates. So we know these are the two candidates that is there. Okay, so we have name, we have vote counter 0, candidate 1, and this is candidate 2, and avatar URL this is something that I have come up, I have taken from the Google and put the link there. Okay, we have our initial state ready. If I open up our application, if you see in the application, we have our candidates, there is 2 candidates and all these variables there. Now we need 2 functions. One is to fetch our vote state. That means if we have already voted or not, and we need to fetch we need to have a function which will vote for a candidate. So let's add those after this. Okay, let me just go here and copy one of the function. I don't want to write everything from scratch, and change it to vote for state, fetch vote state. You name this and we'll call it contract. Create async thing, import this from Redux toolkit. The input for this will be a number, and output for, okay, we also need to import this one, okay, from store, and output will be a boolean like true or false. Boolean, or we might not need this, but okay, output is boolean. That means it's a success or failure. Or we can put output as void, not required. We don't need anything. Okay. Okay. Everything looks good. We don't need these. We don't need these. We don't need this. Okay, so in this we'll just first check if the store has MetaMask or account address or not, but most probably that is not required. We'll start with the signer. We need a signer to get we need a signer first, so we'll use the get signer method that is available in the wallet service. We'll get the signer, then we'll call the we'll call the get contract. So let contract is equal to get contract, and it will need the signer. We'll need the signer. Okay, because signer can be a JSON RPC or undefined, and TypeScript is throwing error because it can be undefined and it's want to be sure that it's not undefined. So if signer equal undefined, just return, just throw an error, throw wallet not connected. Okay, that means when we come to this line, signer will be initialized for sure. Now we have contract. What we want to do is get is voted equals contract dot voters, and in the voter what we want to do is check if my current address is voted or not. Okay, and if my user is not connected, then also I don't want, because this is throwing error because this account address can be null as well. So we'll just add an or condition, equal undefined. So if this variable is also undefined, don't go here. We put an await, and this is the voters. This will become a function. Okay, we have, so this will give me a boolean that if it is user is voted or not. Okay, so yeah, I need a boolean as an output. So this can be positive, this can be true, this can be false. So if your user has not voted, then it's false. So we need to know exactly what it is. Return is voted. So now we have this fetch for vote state. We need another function which will be fetch or vote for a candidate. Let's call it vote for candidate. This is, we can make it void, it's not required. We need the candidate ID, that is fine, and we can remove all this part. Till this we don't need anything. Now we have the contract. We just need to call the vote function, contract dot vote, and in the vote we'll just have the candidate ID, which is this one, and this will come here as an input ID. So whatever we mentioned, the type here is the type of this variable in the event listener or in the event handler. Now we just add a await that we have voted, and that's all. Now we have two functions, which one will fetch the vote state, one will fetch if the candidate has voted or not. Okay. What we will need now is attach this state to our builder, reducer builder. In the add case, we'll have this one, fetch for vote state dot pending, and then state action, and I'll just copy this and put it 3 times to 2 more copy, and I will just copy this again and put it 1 more time for this one. This will be fulfilled, this will be rejected, this will be fulfilled, this this will be fulfilled, and this will be rejected. Now for this one we want the moment state dot is loading true state dot loaded false state dot error false. Same we can do for this pending. Let me just check. Okay, so for this we'll need is loading is voted false, is voting is true, error voting. Let's add another variable called error voting. And we'll put it here as well. Okay, we'll call that as well here as state error voting equals false. Let's copy this in the rejected section, which we'll call voted is false, it's true. And let's copy this in the rejected section and we'll call false, and we'll call this one as true. Okay, so we only need to write the fulfill section, where if the user has loaded the vote state, that means state dot is loading equals false, state dot is loaded true, state dot voted equals action dot payload, which is output of if user has already voted or not. In this case, if it is fulfilled, that means user has already voted. So state dot is voting false and state dot is voted equals true. Okay, everything looks good. Not sure why there is this is coming up like this. What happened? Okay, I think there is two. Which one? Okay, so there is the name of the action is same, just have to replace this. Okay, now we have our functions that we can use to vote for a candidate. Now we have all our services ready. In the next video we will be creating our UI to vote for the candidate. We'll have our candidate cards and vote buttons and everything. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned.